Are your students excited about projects? Does it get them more engaged and more excited about what you're teaching? Well, I've researched the question, is project-based learning an effective strategy for student learning? And I found three quotes that I'm going to share with you today. So the first one is from Avon Swift, and he says that as teachers, we are continuously striving to prepare our students for high-stakes testing, and it's important for us to incorporate social studies in a meaningful way for students. And using project-based learning is an instructional method that drives the content to the students in an effective way that helps them learn how to think. So I thought that this was important because sometimes social studies can be difficult for elementary students to understand and to fully put themselves in that situation and really realize that these things really happened. And because for some of them it was so long ago and they weren't even alive and they really don't understand what all of it means. So by using project-based learning, we can kind of put them in that situation or connect it to something that's meaningful to them or something that they've seen before. So the first thing that I thought I could do in my classroom was connect learning to real world problems. By connecting it to real world problems, students are able to connect to it more, as well as see the importance of what you're teaching them. And then the second way was to allow them to solve things on their own. So giving them a project that allows them to discover new things on their own without me just telling them the answer. It's really important to have them at the center of their learning and help them to solve the problem, but not give them all of the answers and let them kind of discover the different things on their own. The second quote that I found is from Gowale Tuskegee, and he said project-based learning lays a foundation on project studies is an approach which positions the learner at the center of the learning and brings real life situations to the classroom. So again, I thought this was important because with all learning, it's important for the students to see why it's meaningful. I know that for my students, when I give them real world ways that they're going to use the concepts that I'm teaching them, they're automatically more engaged and they're more interested in learning because they know that they're going to use this in their life. Because a lot of times the question is, well, when am I ever going to use this? So I think it's important to give students the answer to that question so that they see the importance of what you're teaching them. So the first thing that I thought was important to use in my classroom was to always put the students at the center of the learning, allowing them to investigate, to explore, to discover different things, and have them at the center of that. Then the second thing was to put them in real life experiences. So by designing these projects, I need to make sure that it's something that's meaningful to them, something that they've seen in life before that they can relate to, not something that maybe they've never experienced before, and relate that to something that they have so they can see the meaningfulness behind it and connect their life to the people that we're talking about or the concepts that we're talking about. And the last quote that I chose was from Emily Miller, and it says project-based learning affords students opportunities to investigate real-world questions that increase the meaningful use of extended projects and connects to authentic questions or problems in a community. So I thought this was important again because it connects something. These projects connect students to the real world. It shows them how this information will help them in their life and how and why it's important to them. So the first thing that I thought I could do in my classroom was to allow students to investigate. So giving them projects that help them solve a problem, or they have to figure out different clues to solve a problem, something where they can investigate and find an answer. And I thought it would be really cool to have the different groups investigate different things and then have them share their discoveries with the class. I thought they would really enjoy that, and then it would give them ownership of their learning. And the second thing was to give them real world problems, real world questions, connect the concepts that I'm teaching to how they're going to use it in the real world, just to help them see the importance of their learning and help them connect it to ways that they're going to use it. So by researching this question, I found that project-based learning is an effective way to help students learn different concepts, and it is effective because it puts the students at the middle of their learning, right in the center, and it helps them to connect their learning to real-world problems or to make it meaningful to them. And by relating these tasks to real world problems, students are able to connect their learning to meaningful concepts, which captures their attention and helps them to be more engaged in what you're teaching. So, if you have the opportunity to use project based learning in your classroom, I highly suggest it, and I think it would be a lot of fun for you and your students. Thank you for watching.